Alright, so this first one's going to be about the Amarr Sentinel. Now, this is the tank, the big, beefy support not really support, I mean, like, it's supposed to be supported kind of suit. You want to run it as, in a team. You don't ever want to run this suit solo. At least from my perspective, it's better off with more HP and having, a Logi behind you or something. In general, this suit is probably the most used suit that I've seen out there, and I'm not sure if it's just because the Amarr Sentinel was the very first suit to be introduced, or the first Sentinel suit to be introduced in the game, but it could just be the fact that it has the 4 low slots, it has, your lots of HP, and as a Sentinel, you kind of want more HP and not less HP. And armor tanking has always been, the rage. It's been the big thing that people do. So let's go into the stats for the Amarr Sentinel. The Amarr has mostly armor, has the least amount of shield out of all of the suits. I'm pretty sure, or is it the Galente? I don't know. It has lower shield, the most amount of armor. It does have a reduced shield recharge rate because it is Amarr, and it has the lowest movement speed out of all 4. Again, as Amarr, its racial bonus is to stamina, so it has the longest sprint duration, but it can't go very far in that duration. And I think that's pretty much it for the uniqueness of the Amarr. Let's go and look at the skills to see what's so special about the Amarr Sentinel. Well, just like every Sentinel, it's got the 5% resistance to splash damage per level and 5% reduction to PG CPU cost of heavy weapons per level. The Amarr Sentinel specifically has 3% armor resistance to projectile weapons. That means HMGs, combat rifles, SMGs, all your Minotaur stuff. And then 2% shield resistance to hybrid railgun weapons. And so this means railguns, what am I called? The rail rifles. And magsex? No, that's... Is it? I don't know. I think it is. But, oh, and, whatchamacallits, the bolt pistols, those things too. So, shield resistance to those and armor resistance to projectile weapons. Pretty good bonuses. I would say that out of all 4, it's probably the second best combination of bonuses. Obviously, the railgun isn't going to help you much, especially if you're already down into armor. It's just going to chew through your armor. But as for projectiles, it has the best bonus towards fighting other heavies. If you have the most HP, most armor HP, and you are the projectile bonus for HMGs and stuff is plus 15% to armor and minus 15% to shield. So having that resistance bonus for the Amarr is always a welcome thing. We go into our fittings again and look at an example fitting. I chose here to just stack it with 3 plates, 3 complex plates there, and a complex armor repair. Now this is a prototype. Again, if you are advanced, you want to run pretty much the same setup, maybe just 2 plates and a repair. And this is for your solo, or not solo, but like your group effort kind of thing. You want to always make sure that you have more HP than your opponent as an Amarr, and even though you have a slow recharge rate, I did throw a energizer on there so that way your shields can come back up in order to help your armor, or let your armor recharge while you are waiting for it, I guess. Again, it's more for support play. If you are going to run it solo, I would recommend running more than 1 armor repair, but that's just up to you. I do use a Flux Grenade because it doesn't have that much shields, and it's really more about armor. You don't want to sacrifice any of your armor. And a standard HMG because burst damage isn't going to matter so much. You want to basically just outlast your opponent, and having a gun that just continuously fires is always better than a burst weapon that kind of requires more strafing and some other things. I do a bolt pistol because if you're going to be close range with your HMG, you always want to have some extra range somewhere else. In terms of overall effectiveness, I find that the Amarr Sentinel is always better in a close quarters combat environment. Whenever it comes, or you want to avoid like the streets and any long range engagements. This is kind of true for all Sentinels, but specifically for the Amarr one, because you can't move very fast at all. And when you are stacked with 3 plates, you're moving even slower, so you're kind of just trudging across the ground. Playing as a Amarr Sentinel, I'd say, is more of a point defense thing. You want to just kind of stick on 1 point or stick between 2 points and hide out in a spot. Don't like hide next to the objective, just hide out somewhere that's close and not so easy to access the objective, but not so far that you have to run for quite a while, because you do move pretty slow and you don't want to have to spend so much time running. You want to be able to get there as soon as possible, so try to stick close to objectives, especially now that we have the objective defense point and that sort of thing. If you like a slower playstyle, if you like having more HP than your opponent, if you are the kind of person that wants a playstyle of outlasting, the Amarr is the perfect one. It's able to do all of those things and more. Not so great for Forge Gun because it only has 1 high slot, but still fantastic for almost every other heavy situation, any sort of just combat oriented heavy. This is the go-to heavy just for killing things. And that's pretty much it. There's not so much else to say about this other than the fact that if I were to rate the Amarr, I'd give it probably a maybe more like an 8.5 out of 10. Quite good. Probably not the the super best, at least in my opinion, but it is definitely a beast in the right hands.